losing the war. Hitler is not playing by the rules, so neither are we.
We both know that I'm not very popular with the administration.
The reason they find you unattractive is the very reason I find you attractive.
If I'm to do this, I'll need my own team. You won't like them.
Let's go!
They're all... No! Mad.
They'll need to be.
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Super long title, by the way, but, you know, it takes a while. It doesn't really roll off the tongue now, does it? Alright, so I heard about this movie a little later. And I actually really didn't, you know, I heard about the movie, but then it got off my radar until my dad started talking to me about it, and he said, dude, that movie looks hilarious. That movie looks great. I want to go see it. And so, and what happened was, my friends and I, we went and saw this and Fall Guy. So Fall Guy was the one that we were like, okay, we're gonna go see that. The second movie was kind of like okay, what do you want to check out? Like, what do you want to see? And we all said, like, this looked interesting, and we're just like, okay, let's go see that. Let's go see that. And that's kind of what we did. So expectations were pretty low on this one. We're pretty low on this one. And I'll say, you know, I got more surprises out of it than I thought I was going to get. And, you know, I enjoyed it. It's, you know, it's done by Guy Ritchie, which right there already kind of gives me like okay, so I mean, you know, I've enjoyed like Sherlock Holmes, enjoyed that, you know, but he loves to do his like gangster movies. I think if he does like those kind of movies, he does do a really good job at it. But then when he's pulled to do something like, I don't know, Aladdin, then it's like okay, like this is just gonna go kind of downhill. But, you know, or if he's married to like Madonna, you'll do Swept Away, and, you know, you'll be universally hated for a while until you start drifting apart from one another, and then, you know, you're back on track. Just throwing it out there. But, you know, this movie did look interesting, and you know what? I saw it with little to no expectations, and I was thoroughly surprised in how much it actually pulled me in and grabbed onto me. So, this movie's about, it's set during World War II, and the British military, they say, you know what? Let's recruit a small group of like soldiers and, you know, people that know how to use guns. And you know what? Let's send them to Germany to basically like stealth strike their forces behind their backs. So that way, you know, if we decide to come in and the Germany says like, hey, get the backup's already taken care of. Like that got stealthily killed. So that's basically what their job is. But then it starts unfolding from there, and then they have to kind of think on their feet on certain things. But, you know, the movie was surprisingly pretty good. Like it like I said, my expectations were extremely low. I didn't really have, you know, to be completely honest, I really didn't have a whole lot of interest in this. And I found out that Guy Ritchie did this after the movie was over. So I'm like, oh, he did this? Okay. Because I know Guy Ritchie shoots movies, like, really quickly. Like, literally, like, after he's done filming one movie, he goes and starts filming another. So it's like, yeah, he really does not sleep, does he? And so, yeah, like seriously, like 6 months after his last movie, I then see this, and it's like, dude, you do like a movie or two every year. I mean, last year, I think he had, like, 2 or 3 movies or something like that he directed. I was like, do you ever, like, you know the concept of vacations or breaks or stopping? And apparently not. But I digress. This movie was very entertaining. It was entertaining. I definitely think like there was at parts that I was kind of drifting away a little bit. You know, it was like one of those things where the movie was holding my hand, and it had me at most of the time. And then every once in a while, I kind of drift away, but then I'm like backing up a little bit, and then something happened, and I immediately ran and held the movie's hand again. So I felt like that's what was kind of going on with this. And, you know, this was a fun movie. The casting was fairly cool. You know, I love Henry Cavill. You know, I really do. And I still think he would make a great James Bond. But to me, my favorite character in the movie, hands down, was Alan Ritchson. I still have not. I'm probably like the two people in the world that have not watched Reacher. And he, you know, from what I saw from Reacher, he was supposed to be like, you know, big, tough, and like he's just not going to take anything from anybody. This, he's big and tough, but he has a kind of sarcastic and kind of funny quality to him that just made me smile and made me laugh every once in a while. Like, especially, you know, it's in the trailer. And there's a part where he's going at it on a whole bunch of people with an axe. Two of the soldiers are just like watching it through like a window. And then after he's done, he just walks up to the window and just waves like with the axe, and he's smiling. And it's just that part I didn't see it until after. I didn't see the trailer until after, and that part in the movie just made me laugh, like just out loud. It tickled me something else, and he was my favorite character in the movie. Even though Henry Cavill is the lead, and he's the lead of the group, Ritchson, he was my favorite. He was my favorite in the whole movie. I think everyone did a great job. I think everybody has enough screen time. There's even like some of the members where I'm just like, okay, you seem like kind of the person that would be kind of in the background and like not really have a whole lot to do. And they kind of did. Like they were just kind of in the background. They just really they contributed, but they were only used if they were absolutely necessary. And it was cool to see that. So it's like, okay, you're not overused, you're not underused, you just have enough time. Felt like Hawkeye in the first Avengers. He had like a lot of screen time and a lot more than anybody was expecting. And I was like, wow, that was great. And, the movie caught me completely by surprise. I would say I would give this a low grade. A low grade. From the performances, the action is pretty entertaining. I will say, like, some of the downgrades to this, it didn't, even though they are fighting the German forces behind enemy lines during World War II, it really didn't feel like a whole lot of stakes were happening. Like, the movie really didn't give me the, oh, do you think this person's going to get killed? Do you think, what's going to happen? I'm just like, it'd be nice if like this happened, but it doesn't happen. I'm like, well, okay, so it really didn't feel like the stakes were there. It felt like, I don't really want to give too much away, but it was just kind of like okay, like, all right, like, whatever. I really wish you guys did this, but because this is based on true events, I really don't know what was historically accurate and what wasn't, so I really can't say anything. But and then a little bit of its pacing. Its pacing at times was a little bit slow, but like I said, like what I said about like it held my hand, and every once in a while I walked away, and then something happened, and I ran back over to hold the movie's hand. So, a low grade. And, you know, very entertaining movie, and it's you know, there's action, there's drama, it's funny. You know, I think if the sense of humor was not in this, I don't think the movie would have worked entirely. So the added sense of humor, I thought, was a good thing. And it also helped that the cast was able to deliver that quite well. And it also was like, yeah, this is a group where, you know, they get the job done, but do they really take it seriously, or they're sarcastic? Yeah. So that kind of puts you on edge, like, do I want to put my faith in this team? Because you're just like, you really don't seem to be, you know, taking this completely seriously. It's like, because at times they really don't. They're having fun as they go. So it's, yeah, so it's, you know, fun movie, and yeah, I'd recommend it.
You and your operation are reckless. Abort this mission now.
Hello? Can't hear you.
Please do off.